Penguin Random House Audio presents The Art of Patience, Seeking the Snow Leopard in Tibet by Sylvain Tesson. Translated from the French by Frank Wynne. Read for you by David Pittu. To the Mother of a Lion Cub. The females of all animals are less violent in their passions than the males, except the female bear and the leopard, for the female of these appears more courageous than the male. Aristotle, The History of Animals, Book 9. Preface. I had met him one Easter day at a screening of his film about the Abyssinian wolf. He had spoken to me about the elusiveness of animals and of the supreme virtue, patience. He had told me about his life as a wildlife photographer and explained the technique of lying in wait. It was a delicate and rarefied art that involved hiding in the wild and waiting for an animal that could not be guaranteed to appear. There was a strong chance of coming away empty-handed. This acceptance of uncertainty seemed to me to be very noble, and by the same token, anti-modern. Could I, who loved to run like the wind over lowlands and highlands, manage to spend hours silent and utterly still? Lying among the nettles, I obeyed Meunier's precepts. Not a movement, not a sound. I could breathe. This was the only vulgar reflex permitted. In cities, I had grown accustomed to prattling about anything and everything. The most difficult thing was saying nothing. Cigars were prohibited. "We'll smoke later, down by the river," Meunier had said. "It will be night and fog." The prospect of lighting a Havana on the banks of the Moselle made it easier to endure the position of prostrate watcher. Life was exploding. The birds in the trees streaked the night sky. They did not shatter the magic of the place, did not disturb the order of things. They belonged to this world. This was beauty. 100 meters away, the river flowed. Swarms of dragonflies hovered over the surface, predatory. On the western bank, a hobby falcon was diving. Its flight was hieratic, precise, deadly. A stuka. This was not the time to allow myself to be distracted. 2 adult badgers were emerging from the set. Until it grew dark, all was a mixture of grace, of drollery, of authority. Would the badgers give a signal? 4 heads appeared, and the shadows darted from the tunnels. The twilight games had begun. We were posted 10 meters away, and the animals were oblivious to our presence. The badger cubs tussled, scrabbled up the embankment, rolled into the ditch, nipped at each other's necks, and got a clout from an adult, determined to restore a semblance of order to the night circus. The black pelts, daubed with 3 stripes of ivory, would disappear into the undergrowth, only to reappear further on. The animals were preparing to forage in the fields and on the riverbanks. They were warming up for the night ahead. From time to time, one of the badgers would wander close to our hide, snuffling the ground with its long snout, then turning to face us. The dark bands set with coal-black eyes sketched out melancholy smears. They were still on the move. We could make out the powerful plantigrade paws turned inward. In the French clay, their claws left small bear-like tracks that a certain lumbering race of humans, in its wisdom, identified as the tracks of vermin. It was the first time I had ever been so still, hoping for an encounter. I scarcely recognized myself. Until now, from the Yakutia to Seine-et-Oise, I had run, adhering to 3 principles. The unexpected does not pay house calls. It must be sought out everywhere. Movement enhances inspiration. Boredom runs less swiftly, than a man in a hurry. In short, I convinced myself that there was a link between distance and the importance of an event. I thought of stillness as a dress rehearsal for death. In deference to my mother, resting in the family tomb on the banks of the Seine, I roved about frenetically, the mountains on Saturday, the seaside on Sunday, without paying attention to what was going on around me. How do journeys spanning thousands of kilometers lead one day to lying in the tall grass with your chin propped on the edge of a ditch? Next to me, Vincent Meunier was taking photographs of the badgers. The mass of muscle beneath his camouflage clothes blended into the vegetation, but his profile was still visible in the half-light. His face, all sharp edges and long ridges, seemed to be sculpted for issuing orders. He had a nose that Asians mocked, a carved chin, and soft eyes. A gentle giant. He had talked to me about his childhood, his father taking him to a hide beneath a spruce tree to witness the flight of the king, the capercaillie. The father teaching the son the promise of silence, the son discovering the rewards of nights spent lying on the frozen ground, the father explaining that the appearance of an animal is the greatest gift life can give to those who love it. The son setting up his own hides, discovering the secrets of the world unaided, learning to frame a nighthawk taking wing. The father discovering the son's artistic photographs. Meunier, lying next to me, had been born in the mists of the Vosges. He had become the greatest wildlife photographer of his time. His peerless photographs of wolves, bears, and cranes were sold in New York galleries. "Tesson, I'm taking you to the forest to see badgers," he had said to me, and I had accepted, because no one refuses an invitation from an artist in his studio. He did not know that Tesson meant badger in Old French. The word is still common in the vernacular of Western France and Picardy. It originated as a deformation of the Greek taxis, from which we get the words taxonomy, the science of classifying animals, and taxidermy, the art of stuffing animals, since man likes to skin the things he has just named. On the topographical maps of France, there are tessonnières, the name given to the bucolic sites of mass culls. For in the countryside, the badger was despised and ruthlessly destroyed. It was accused of digging up the soil, of damaging hedges. It was smoked out. It was killed. Did the badger deserve the relentless fury of men? It was a secretive animal, creature of night and solitude. It favored an inconspicuous life, ruled over the shadows, did not suffer visitors. It knew tranquility was something to be defended. It left its set at night and returned at dawn. How could man tolerate the existence of a totem to discretion, making a virtue of distance and an honor of silence? Zoologists described the badger as monogamous and sedentary. If etymology connected me to the animal, I did not conform to its nature. Night fell. The animals disappeared into the undergrowth. There was a general rustling. Meunier must have noticed my joy. I considered these few hours as one of the best nights of my life. I had just encountered a clan of living creatures that was utterly sovereign. They did not struggle to escape their condition. We headed back to the road via the riverbank. In my pocket, the cigars were crushed. "There's an animal in Tibet that I've been tracking for 6 years," said Meunier. "It lives up in the high plateaus. You can spend a long time in a hide just to catch a glimpse of one. I'm going back this winter. Come with me." "What is it?" "The snow leopard," he said. "I thought it had disappeared," I said. "That's what it wants you to think." Part 1. The Approach. The goal.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?